Okay, welcome back everybody. How are you? I was building some ladders for some bunk beds, and I'm using a few different parallel clamps, and I thought I would take a minute to talk about these clamps. I've got this, I forget the model number, it's a Bremen Parallel Clamp from Harbor Freight. I've got a number of these, and generally I like them. And then I saw a deal on Amazon for the Bora Parallel Clamp. And today's my first time to use them, and I wanted to talk about them a little bit. I wanted to share the differences between the Bremen and the Bora. A few of these are a little different. With the Bremen, I have some 24-inch clamps and some 48-inch clamps. And with the Bora, I got a kit, and the kit had 24-inch and 31-inch. And here is a 31-inch next to the 24-inch. But the kit, it was a pretty good deal. A few things before I get into all the details, and there's a few details. There's a few similarities. There's a few differences. Let's compare the 24 to 24. They're very similar in construction. The riser on the Bora is adjustable. It has a little screw here, and it's all plastic, but if you loosen it up and you expand it just a little bit, it can slide down the threads so that when you're setting it up, maybe you have a tight clamping area. What this does is it keeps the back end of it, because there's a lot of weight on here, it keeps it from falling off. And why do you need to, if you have enough of a work surface, you don't really need to move that, because it'll support wherever you're at. But maybe you have a shorter work surface and you need to shorten that up, and that makes sense. It makes sense that that's why they do it. These particular clamps I got on a deal on Amazon, two 24-inch and two 31-inch clamps, and the cost of them was $119, and that essentially is $30 a clamp, which I thought was a pretty fair deal, a reasonable deal. I don't see that deal available today, but I'm sure the deals come and go. One thing I noticed, that the protection pads, these little fellas here, these clamps, the package was 4 clamps, two 24-inch and two 31-inch. Each clamp had one protection pad. That's it. Here's another one protection pad. And the protection pads come in pretty handy. But I think I got shorted, but you know, it's not the end of the world, but I think they're supposed to have 2 protection pads each. I look back at the Amazon ads on other clamps and they all show 2 protection pads, but it is what it is, and I'm going to be all right. And then one thing here, take out my Allen Crown tape measure. The throat on this one is about 3 5/8. So, well, actually, you put the protection pad, it's 3.5-inch throat on the clamp itself. Well, another thing, it has a wonderful grip. It's got some tight edges, sharp turns within the grip area, and it allows you to get a good grip on it as you tighten it down, as opposed to being just a smooth surface. And they seem to tighten pretty well. There's one point, the Bora claims to have 1,100 pounds of clamping pressure, whereas the Bremen has 1,300 pounds of clamping pressure, allegedly. I'm not here to say they don't. I'm not measuring that. I'm just telling you how they advertise it. So the Bremen does have 2 protection pads. The Bremen has 3 3/4 inch of a throat So it's a 1/4 inch deeper on the actual clamping surface. The riser, or the foot here, it doesn't, it's not adjustable. However, you can snap it out and snap it back in. It's not going to fall out. It's rigged up in a way that it's going to hold itself in there. I think those are very convenient. I also think the protection pads are very convenient. One thing I've noticed on these, I've had it happen to 2 of them, is you get a load in there and you're tightening it down, and then all of a sudden it keeps turning and it keeps turning and it keeps turning and it keeps turning. And you might have some kind of pressure on there, but it's not necessarily increasing. And it's not getting to a point where I'm comfortable that it's tight. And I believe what had happened in those 2 cases is the grip had stripped, not the grip, the threads on the female end had stripped out the male threads, but I took it back each time. I took it back to Harbor Freight, and they, no questions asked. They said, go get another clamp. They replaced the clamp. No questions asked, none at all. However, there's an ordeal of going back to a place to get it replaced. Again, with the Bora, I'm new with these. I haven't put them to a number of projects, so I haven't seen any issues. Going back to the grip, these have a decent grip. It's not a hard grip. There's the orange part is a hard plastic. The blue part is a little bit of a rubber in there. It's not too soft, but there is some movement to the rubber, and there's some little shape in there and some finger grips, so it allows you to tighten up your load, whatever you're doing. I will say though, I like the grip better on the Bora. It bites in your hand a little better, and whereas, you know, they both tighten, they both work just fine. I happen to like the Bora better. These are fine though. I remember seeing another review and the guy was criticizing the grip here. Maybe it could be better, but it's fine. It really is fine. It's comfortable. You're not, you know, it's like turning a screwdriver. Some screwdrivers feel better in your hand than others. That's what this is. They all work, and this works just fine. Right now, when I checked it today, these are $29.99, and I think that's fine. I think I might have bought one of these when it was $24.99. It might have been $1 a foot, and I might have gotten a deal, but you know how Harbor Freight goes. You can get deals on occasion. There's holiday deals. You might be an Inside Track Club member or whatever. There's different ways to find deals, or if the timing's right. So those things kind of vary. And anyways, I don't have fancier clamps. I don't have more expensive clamps. I have these 2 clamps for parallel clamps. I don't have the Bessie, and I don't have the Jorgensen or whatever. And so I don't know if spending that money is going to make a big difference. I just don't know. Here's a quick recap. 24 inches in length, each of them. I personally like the grip better on the Bora. However, the grip is fine over here. I have personally witnessed the thread stripping on 2 of these Bremens. However, Harbor Freight exchanged them for free, no questions asked. The Bora claims to provide 1,100 pounds of pressure. The Bremen claims to provide 1,300 pounds of pressure. That's a little something. However, I think 1,100 is fine. I think, I bet 600 is fine. But they each provide very good pressure for clamping. Depends on what you're doing. But certain things require different clamping pressures. And what I'm working on here is ladders to a bunk bed, and my connection is with dominoes. You can see some of the domino slots here. So I glue everything up and I assemble everything, and then I go down the line onto my table and I clamp everything down. So this doesn't require a tremendous amount of pressure, but just I want to hold the pressure there for a while till the glue sets, and then get rid of it and build another one. But anyway, I wanted to share my thoughts on the comparison between the Bremen and the Bora. Bora is printed or what is embossed on one side of the plastic here, and Bremen is embossed, but also with white ink on this side. Nothing on this side. Logos are on this side. The top of the clamps are very similar. If you mangled up one of the clamping pads, you could switch it with the end pad. They would flip over to the other side. There's 3 pads on each clamp. On the particular set I got, I only had 1 protection pad, whereas the Bremen obviously has 2. I think they all should have 2 at a minimum. I mean, it wouldn't hurt having a few extras in a drawer somewhere. And if I had extras, I would be able to use them here, but I don't. Let me check this one thing out. If I pull the protection pad off of here, will it go onto here? Yes, it does. It seems to fit comfortably. It may come from the same mold. I'm not sure. This bar is the same. It appears to be the same thickness and material. So the protection pad slips right on there also, and it's a good deal. Anyway, thanks for checking out this short video, and I hope my little comparison helps you out. And please stay tuned for other videos. And also, I'd love it if you subscribe and like. Thank you. Have a great day.